A very loud thunder strike happens outside.
Whoa, did you hear that thunder? That was Zeus letting one rip. Just kidding, but seriously.
There we go.
That was a pretty intense strike. Let's turn up the music and keep the party going.
So if we... That was a perfect response. Turn up the music, blame it on the dog. That was a perfect response, actually. So that's the kind of thing that we could eventually do is have that whenever, you know, it turns to thundery weather, have a chance to fire that off.
Who knows what kind of trouble we'd get into if we were all in the same room together. But hey, that's half the fun of partying online, right? We can let our imaginations run wild and keep things interesting.
It's not ChatGPT necessarily. It's an AI system called Inworld.
For sure, Pennant. Gotta mix it up to keep things interesting.
They mentioned the possibility of using multiple language models behind the scenes for different things. But I think what they're doing is they're using one language model for like what we say
totally.
being translated.
D&D. You get to create your own character and make all their decisions.
And another model for what he says, if that makes sense.
Having a good time.
Like when I hit spacebar and I talk to him, that might be using one language model. When you type text and talk to him, that might be using another language model. And when he responds, that might be using another model. And some of those could be different technologies.
Oh, for sure. Awkward, sir.
I heard rumors of
the barbarian class. Gotta love smashing things and getting up close and personal in combat.
I heard rumors of Google's conversational AI being involved. I don't know how much that's true. You know, they don't want to talk too much about what's behind the scenes because, of course, the more they reveal, the easier it becomes for someone else to copy them.
This is just me and my buddies hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah, so the character you change through your own settings and everything. Like here, let me...
no worries, Rico. Glad to have you here with us.
I'll pause chat here for a second. And we can actually just tab over to where we have him. So here's Rico as he exists now. We have our core description, which is just a long paragraph that has little tidbits of information about him and who he is and whatnot. We have his motivations, looking to get intoxicated, make new friends, blah, 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 blah. Some of his flaws that are listed out. We have his name, his pronouns. His role is your uncle and best friend. Stage of life, middle. Alternate names, Unc, Rico, Uncle. Hobbies, drinking, gambling, listening to 70s, blah, blah, blah. Going to gentlemen's clubs, browsing adult websites, bowling. Character traits, laid back, drunk, goofy, careless, compulsive, lazy, eccentric, raunchy, sleazy, and wild. Some of those probably won't really come into play until they let some of the other systems kind of ease up on censorship. And then we have like his mood, sadness, joy, negative to positive. Like I had him full positive before, but then I dropped him down a little bit just to see if we can actually let him have a little bit more negativity. And emotional fluidity being dynamic allows more shifting in these over time. So he's not cautious. He's more of an extrovert. He's super confident. So what I might do is just drop positive down another notch. But I guess the challenge there is personality versus mood. His personality should be...
Hello, I'm Uncle Rico.
And then we can change the speed and the pitch and pick different voices from the list. This is the one that worked the best for him. Dialogue style, we're using a preset right now for laid back. We can mix in other ones and get different behaviors. Goals and actions, we're not working with that right now. That's more for things getting triggered. And the scene is where he just knows about what his house is like. And eventually we'll set that up to be a little different, where I'm probably going to have the house be part of general knowledge and the scenes be more about which room in the house he's currently in, because we can change these dynamically, and that changes his behavior. So he might behave differently in the kitchen than he does in the hot tub or in the basement. In the basement, we might break up into multiple sections too. Like he might be in the basement bar or the basement theater area or a basement at an arcade cabinet, because we're gonna have all kinds of stuff down there. So that's like the basics of it. You can see it's not a huge amount of stuff here, really. But over time, we're going to expand on this and make it all a lot more in depth, which will give the character more depth. But for what we have right now, he's doing a pretty darn good job.
Thanks, Rico. I try to keep things cool and fun. What's your favorite game to play?
And then beyond that information, he has, of course, you know, whatever's available from the internet that's baked into him.
Oh, yeah, rumming. I can make a bong out of anything. You name it. I'll turn it into a smoking device.
What kind of things have you made a bong out of?
Oh, man, I've made a bong out of all kinds of things. Water bottles, soda cans, even a pineapple once. It's all about being creative and resourceful.
It's going to be a live stream on Twitch, just like we're doing right now, where Rico's hanging out in his house, throwing a party. There'll be a few other characters around the party, just kind of, you know, sitting in a chair or hanging out in the hot tub or whatever, doing their own thing. And Rico is going to be interacting with chat. So he'll read what you guys are saying. He's going to interact with it. He'll announce subscriptions and cheers and raids and stuff. And then he'll also respond to changes in his environment. So you guys, for example, might cheer a certain number of bits that might change the lighting, or tell him to go to a different room, or have him dance or do whatever. And that kind of interaction will dynamically change his world. And as his world changes, he'll change, and vice versa. He'll walk around to different rooms, to different locations with each room. The dog will always follow him around and hang out in the same room, but maybe not next to him. He could be in a dog bed in the corner, or he could be, you know, over peeing on the potted plant. Yeah, eventually we'll get some of the AI characters to interact with each other if we had separate personalities for each of them. That's something that I do plan on doing eventually, but that's a little further down the road. We still have a lot of work to do. But it's been fun, and I'm learning a lot while doing it. It's been a good challenge.
Aha! Ursula, that. Maybe I should. I've got plenty of crazy stories to tell. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll see me on TV.
So it's less of a procedural TV show, but more just like a party that you're invited to and you're also watching. So things will happen in the environment. There will be like scripted events and things that happen. Sometimes there'll be things triggered by chat. Sometimes they'll be triggered by what he says, or by random events. If you're enjoying the party
and want to support the stream, head on over to our Patreon page and show us some love. Every little bit helps keep the good times rolling.
But a lot of what he's doing and how he's behaving has nothing to do with the settings inside of Inworld, and everything to do with what we're telling him to do. Like that right there is something where I send a prompt that says, welcome people to your stream, or tell people to subscribe to Patreon.
Dear Bong, I've never made one
Dear
before,
Bong.
but I'm always up for a challenge. Let's give it a shot.
Pardon me. He can learn a little bit during each chat session, but that memory is kind of fleeting. So based on what you guys are saying, what's going on around him in chat,
Thanks, Rico. You know, I'm always
retain a bit of
for
it.
a good time.
So watch, I can say, what did Hadouken ask you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I'm not sure what you're referring
he's not gonna be able to get your
Can you please
name.
provide more context or clarify your question?
So you can't actually have it reference things that happen in chat. Like it does know what's been going on, but over time that memory fades.
Learning. Ha. Menacing methods. I don't need to learn anything. I'm already a master of my craft. But hey, if you want to learn from the best, stick around and watch me work my magic.
And then we have things like our icebreakers, which I'll have him do an icebreaker now.
Hey y'all, let me ask you something. What's something that you pretend to hate, but deep down inside you actually love? For me, it's gotta be country music. Can't stand it in public, but when I'm alone and nobody's watching, I can't help but jam out to some good old Garth Brooks. Don't tell anyone though.
So the entirety of that prompt was actually, ask Twitch chat the following question as if it were your idea. What do you pretend to hate but actually love? So all of the other stuff surrounding that was what he made up. So he kind of expands on the question. He'll sometimes add little details in the middle of the question. And then sometimes he'll even add in his own response.
Doc Workman, sir. You know it, my man. A pineapple bomb sounds like just the thing to add some sweetness to our party. Let's make it happen.
And then we just recently added the dad joke feature, which is this one.
Hey, y'all ready for a joke? All right, here it goes. What's the name of a very polite European body of water? Merci. Ha ha, get it. It's like sea, but with a French twist. Classic Uncle Rico humor right there.
So it's like C, but with a French twist. I think he explained the joke on his own, because the full joke is, what's the name of a very polite European body of water? The Merci. So he actually explained the joke after telling it, which honestly is the kind of tacky, stupid thing that you know, this character would actually do. So yeah, like it's a very simple prompt, but the way he reads it, he adds on a lot to it, which is good. I like that. The challenge we have is sometimes he doesn't actually properly read the question, he just responds to it himself.
Thanks, Ramen. I'm glad I could make you laugh. You know me, always